Hey guys, Alex here from Porsche Centre Parramatta, and we're here on a beautiful long weekend. Sun's out, so we've got our Macan Turbo behind us in oak green metallic neo, and we're sitting in this beautiful entrance of the National Park here. It's kind of fitting vibe. I like the colour. Let's go have a look. Alrighty. So to get started, doors open, keys in the car, and we're good to go. We've got our foot on the brake pedal and we're down into drive. Now before we drive away, a little bit more about this particular car. We're driving the Macan Turbo. Yes, I know what you're thinking. There's no turbo in an electric car. You're correct. But the turbo namesake is just a little bit of familiarity so that you know when we're in the turbo, we're in the top of the range. And you better be holding on because this thing is quick. 0 to 100, about 3.3 seconds, 430 kilowatts, about 1100 Newton meters of torque, and that'll all translate into a bloody good drive. For today, we don't have the battery fully charged. We're on about 60%, about 280 Ks, which is going to be definitely enough for us to have a bit of fun through the national park. And later on in the day, we'll stop past one of the public chargers around. We'll do a little bit more in depth about charging and maybe topping up a bit of that battery as well. All right, let's go for a drive. Now, some of the favorite things about this particular vehicle and the all-new Macan as a whole, something I never got to experience in our previous Macan was the ability for Android Auto. Yes, I am an Android user, and if you're like my wife, you'll argue that I should just buy a new phone. But instead, we've now bought into a new car, the Android Auto system, and then I can have that connectivity, which is probably one of my favorite little quirks on it. So a lot of people might think that just because we're driving an electric vehicle that we're going to sacrifice on having a fun drive. Now what you don't realize is the vehicles have a low center of gravity. So we can just throw it into this corner a little bit more quicker and then put our foot down without having any delay in getting into the corner and getting back up to the speed limit. So we're following a ute in front of us, and I'm just putting a little bit of distance between ourselves and the car in front with the active lane keeping and the adaptive cruise control, just in case of any rock chips or anything like that. And you might actually notice as well that the car is slowly regenerating a bit of electrical power back into the battery. So because we're a little bit too close, we're actually under the speed limit of what we've set, and the car is subtly just regenerating a little bit of power back into the battery to maintain that safe distance. Also going to give us a little bit of kilometer range back into the battery over time. Now if I put my foot more aggressively on the brake, you'll see a little bit there, more of that regeneration. As we go down some of these hills coming up, you'll see the car will adjust that regeneration to be a little bit more natural in its feel. So we still have to use the brake pedal, but to give us the most amount of electric power back into the battery and, you know, over time extending a bit of that usable range. Now, one thing that is quite important in this particular vehicle is, yes, it has our lane keeping. It's pretty subtle in the way it's configured, and I kind of like it because in a road like this, where we don't have multiple lanes, it will give us the ability to be able to move over a little bit closer to the side of the road without aggressively pulling you back in. So if you do need to overtake a person walking, running, or riding on a bicycle, you can kind of do it in a little bit more safety without, you know, the car being a little bit too aggressive and really driving for you. So in the all-new Macan, we've got 4 vehicles in the range. Now, one of the key standout features on this particular car is the Turbonite badging. Now you're going to notice as we go a little bit closer to the car, our Porsche logo badge, Turbonite. So it's more of that monochrome color there, which is specific on only vehicles that have that turbo namesake. Now again, here on the key, you'll notice a little bit there on the key, that Turbonite badging. Center badge on the steering wheel, and the colors around the vehicle are matched in Turbonite on our Macan Turbo here. Another key standout for a turbo vehicle, high gloss black accents around the bottom, and whilst I'm standing down here like a bit of a silly bugger, we've got a camera underneath for all of our parking, all of our adaptive cruise controls and radar sensors down here, and the headlight system. That headlight system is now split. Daytime running lights up the front, our blinkers, our smart HD matrix headlight system down below. So splitting those up between the two, you will get quite a wider field of view with those illuminated beams. Parking sensors either side and in the middle here. One of the nice little things that is a key takeaway on any electric vehicle in the Macan range is, yeah, there's no engine. But get a little bit more additional storage. So I'm just going to put some bags in here, close it down, nice and simple, and away we go. Ready to get back on the road and go for another drive. Alrighty, so we've just had a few hours driving. Coming back towards around the Sutherland area, notice at Ampol, we've got an amp charge station here, so we're going to stop, get a little bit of power back into the car, recharge a little bit. I'm going to show you how simple it is and how quick it is to get a bit more charge. I'm just going to go over this little, and you notice in some of these amp charge stations, they've got these little sections up the top that allow you to pull out the cable for like this, where you got two cars charging at one time. Nice and simple. Now we're going to come over into the amp charge app. We see our one that's available. Obviously I've got some details already in there, no looking over there, eh? And as you can see, we're charging. So whilst the car's charging, let's jump inside the car. We'll talk a little bit more about the interior features. We've got our wireless phone charging compartment here. Main volume, so turning up and down. Now what a lot of people don't realize is if you push in this button and hold it, we've got a central display management. So we can turn our heads-up display on and off, our passenger display on and off. So as you can see, we've got a little GoPro mounted there, but the passenger display on or off. Really for, even if you're at night, you want to turn off that main central display, you can turn everything off at the push of a button. Now obviously everybody knows what a wireless charger does, but we've got a little hole here, and you can see that I've put a USB-C cable through this hole, this little tunnel underneath where my phone and glasses are, plugged into the USB-C. If you've got a thicker case, we can plug the phone in, or we can leave it there, or let's turn it upside down so we don't see anything. And you can still have a phone charged up in this part, maybe multiple. You can have one wireless charging under there and put this on top. You can also keep that underneath as well. So it just depends on where you like the phones to be. You can have a little accessibility for both there. Obviously 2 cup holders, all of our airflow controls, and a nice deep center compartment there. Let's go back to the main PCM system. Now, this is where we get a lot of fun little things for everyday usability. We're going to go into the navigation. Now, the way I found this charging station is just through, and we can see as we click into here and we click Ampol, we know here that the petrol station was here. I've had a look on the Ampol app and I knew that there were some chargers here as well. Now, if we go through and navigate, for an example, we can see here Brisbane City Centre. Let's go navigate. We'll go for a bit of a drive. We're going to see 2 things that come up. On our right hand side, we're going to see obviously our normal directions. On our left hand side, this is our route charge planner. Every place where we're going to stop between here and Brisbane, how long we're going to stop for charge, the kilowatt capacity of the charge, and how many are available out of the total charges. So this is going to make everyday usability on this car so much easier. You don't have to worry about where we're stopping to charge. The car's doing everything for you. We've got our ambient lighting, we've got our communication lighting, which is a communication light strip above the whole top of the car. Now let's turn it on. And as you can see, that lighting pops up through there. So with our communication lighting, there's a number of different things that the lights are going to represent. So if we change to sport mode, all the way over to off-road, you can see that we've got a couple different color cues to indicate what mode we're in. What else it's going to do for us is if we press the voice activated commands. Hey Porsche, can you turn the front seat heating on?
Okay, I will set the front seat heating to level 3.
So we've got our driver and our passenger seat heating on. Now I'm going to turn them both off because I'm warm enough. But these are just some of the small little things that we can do. Switching drive modes, seat heating, and a lot of these voice activated prompts so we can focus on driving and enjoying the drive and not have to fiddle around on this compartment here. Alrighty, so we just disconnected the battery. We were at about 30%. We've only charged for about 10 minutes. So we'll get into our charging mode. We're back up to about 44%. Now that's more than enough for me to get to from where I am now and back out to home base down at Porsche Centre Parramatta. But one of the more interesting features that I want to just showcase it over in our charging features here. I'm going to press a little cog for our settings. And we're going to go down here to activate battery conservation. Now this sets target charge of the vehicle to 80%. And as you can see, at higher temperatures, the battery is going to be cooled. So that's going to maintain the temperature within the battery and it's going to charge us up to 80% and it's going to stop. Now if I click that off, we can go then adjust the target charge and you see our little warning message here, avoid leaving the battery fully charged for long periods of time. So why that is important, now our smartphone doesn't have the level of technology that we have in the car, but by target charging to 100%, you're inducing a higher temperature into the battery and you can play around with that longevity on those batteries there. So if you're going for a real long drive between here and Brisbane, for an example, charge it to 100. You're going to get a little bit of extra range and we're going to be able to drive a little bit further before we're recharging. For city driving, into that setting, activate battery conservation. That 80% is going to set your target charge to 80 and it's just going to be able to help you with a little bit more longevity within the vehicle and just to maintain that safe temperatures within those batteries.